Oh man, today we're doing a Reddit video.
You did the same as Dan. You made toys with tube heroes.
And yes, that's fair, but I'm not the one complaining.
Well, okay then. He was talking about food, not merchandise and toys.
And because they fall into the category of ultra-processed foods, they aren't healthy to consume often, period. Studies actually show that those consuming high amounts of UPFs can have up to 50% higher risk of developing obesity.
If their point of view gets enough votes, it gets marked on the tweet. But that's crazy to me because if you're a polarizing person like me, because the contributors, by the way, who are not my fans, these are people who sit online all day, they don't go outside, they don't smell the grass, sit at the computer all day, they'll come up with something that fits their narrative or might make your tweet look bad so other people can ratio you, and oh my God, bro.
For a company that had barely kicked off, Lunchley is already getting heavy backlash and negative reviews targeting its founders, the world's biggest YouTubers, MrBeast, KSI, and Logan Paul.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce you to Lunchley.
Oh my gosh. Lunchley versus Lunchables.
With Lunchley, you get double the amount of liquid.
Prime has no sugar added, more electrolytes, and more B vitamins.
Crunch Bar.
Whoa.
Feastables Crunch
Yeah!
Bar. Our pizza uses real cheese. Theirs, as it says on their box, is mozzarella pasteurized prepared cheese product. They can't even call it real cheese.
Ooh.
We're also 30 less calories, 3 less grams of fat, and 8 less grams of sugar. Turkey Stack 'em, 310 calories.
230 calories.
21 grams of sugar.
Only 7 grams of sugar.
In less than a month after its launch, the marketing strategy of these YouTubers severely backfired, and it seems they aren't getting away with this one. What happened to Lunchley, and how did the world's biggest YouTubers become the villains? When Logan Paul and KSI launched Prime back in 2022, it turned out to be a massive commercial success. They signed major endorsement deals with football clubs like Barcelona and Juventus, and secured Dana White's signature, making Prime the official energy drink of the UFC. Logan and KSI realized that if you can harness the power of a massive fan base, you can sell products to them and become even richer. Lunchley was positioned as a product that could appeal to the same demographic by using internet icons themselves to front a recognizable and approachable brand. With Lunchley, they hope to expand into the food industry by producing items that fit the needs of their young customer base. This included combining energy drinks and snacks into a single, well-rounded product. Sounds like an opportunity to make more money, right? Until they launched Lunchley, and their marketing strategy started raising eyebrows. Why criticize Lunchables?
All right. A drink, some chocolate.
Yep, some chocolate.
And an entree.
And an entree.
Wait.
And they call
Some
I don't even want to say
chocolate,
A drink,
a drink,
and an entree.
and an entree.
Yes.
Okay.
Perhaps you guys are piecing this together, but this is Lunchables.
MrBeast, KSI, and Logan Paul chose to take a huge shot at their competition, Lunchables, and that's where things began to unravel.
Rizzler, what's your thoughts on it?
Show us what you think of this.
Oh! Wait, can you do the face too? Oh my gosh!
So
Okay.
perhaps you piece this together because we realized, me and JJ, we have a drink.
Here, you want to hold it so it's easier to visualize?
Here it is.
And-
Better for you hydration beverage.
I sell chocolate.
We thought we came together to create a Lunchables competitor featuring the fastest growing hydration beverage ever and the fastest growing candy ever. And so we did that. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce you to Lunchley.
While Prime took off with a bang, Lunchley left many with more questions than answers. Is this product really healthy? What are the nutritional claims? Are there any underlying health issues in the short or long term that people should know about? What do experts say about the new snack from YouTube's big stars? Truth be told, they weren't ready for what followed. On September 16th, 2024, Logan Paul posted an infomercial on X, comparing the contents of Lunchley to Lunchables, but soon enough, he got slammed with X's community notes. The note read, the 400 ml of electrolytes in the chart appears incorrect. The 12 Oz Strawberry Banana Prime and the 12 Oz Ice Pop Prime both have 500 milligars of potassium, not 400 milligars. That does not even include the other electrolytes. Ouch. Community notes included a link to the National Library of Medicine for verification, and that didn't reflect well on Lunchley. Other YouTubers, like Dan TDM, spoke out against the trio. Quoting Dexerto's post, he said, "What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't stay silent anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money, plain and simple. How does this benefit their fans? This This is selling junk to kids who don't know better than to trust the people selling it to them. Logan Paul responded the following day with more criticism of Lunchables, posting a screenshot from Consumer Reports Advocacy, urging the USDA to remove Lunchables from the National School Lunch Program. Paul replied to Dan's post with, "We spent our lives creating content and building our brands. Now we want to build businesses. You don't say anything when Lunchables faces bans for allegedly containing lead, but when we create a better version, you're upset? Then don't eat it." Community notes popped up again, reading, "Prime Hydration, LLC was filed against for including lead on 3 separate occasions, with the third being in March 2024. Commenting on Lunchables' lead findings while including a drink known to have lead inside a meal pack is very hypocritical." The post was viewed by over 49 million people and was rated helpful. Logan Paul had an uphill battle to win this argument. He argued that the 400 milliliters of electrolytes indicated comes entirely from the potassium in Prime. It was a busy day for Logan Paul. On X, he tried to reassure people about the quality control measures used in making Lunchley. He said, "We spend a lot of money to put all meals through X-ray and metal detection to ensure no foreign materials are in Lunchley." However, he made this post in response to a request for the amount of lead and heavy metals present in Lunchables and Lunchley. And guess what? Notes popped up again. You do not use X-ray and metal detectors to determine how much lead is in consumables. Soon, community notes were under attack, and Logan Paul called X the platform of fake speech. Community notes continued to present more facts about Lunchley, even going as far as taking a picture of the listed content on Prime bottles. Dr. Brian Sutterer added, "Sodium getting rebranded as electrolytes will be taught in schools one day," and Logan Paul had a few words for him on X. 2 days later, Dr. Brian posted a video on his YouTube channel discussing Prime and its nutritional content.
If a parent came into my doctor's office, I would not recommend that their child drink this for lunch. But I also wouldn't recommend that they drink this, or even something like this. In fact, I wouldn't recommend anybody just drink hydration electrolyte beverages for the heck of it. Now, the average person, when they exercise and sweat, the number one electrolyte that you're losing is sodium chloride specifically. That's what gives that salty taste. You're not losing a lot of potassium in your sweat. It's primarily salt. And it's varied from one person to the other, but on average, you lose around 900 to 950 milligrams of sodium per liter of sweat.
A week after Logan Paul's implosion on X, Dr. Mike, a medical expert on YouTube, expressed his opinion, pointing out that the snacks did not satisfy USDA nutrition guidelines for school lunches. This increased public mistrust, and people began avoiding the product.
Their nutritional value is just not good. They're often too high in sodium, saturated fat, and added sugars, and don't use healthy whole food ingredients. And because they fall into the category of ultra-processed foods, they aren't healthy to consume often, period. Studies actually show that those consuming high amounts of UPFs can have up to 50% higher risk of developing obesity, and some specific UPFs are linked to increases in cancer. I see it even in my clinic. So many of my pediatric patients are over-consuming UPFs, and it's becoming a growing problem across the country. Consumer Reports even dedicated a special feature highlighting the problems with Lunchables and why they shouldn't be consumed regularly due to health risks. My own take on Lunchables, I don't recommend parents pack them for their kids on a daily basis. Starting with the first claim, in the press release announcing the product, Logan Paul was quoted as saying Lunchley is a healthier alternative and that it's a better for you lunch option compared to Lunchables. In fact, throughout the Lunchley website and the social media promo posts, you'll see countless comparisons being made to Lunchables. To be honest, some of the comparisons are kind of cringe and don't make much sense to me, but maybe that's because I'm not the target demo. Flavorful combos versus standard picks? The meal kit combos are nearly identical to Lunchables. Big gestures versus mid moments? I certainly don't remember that lesson in my nutrition classes. I was more concerned with the nutritional comparisons being made anyway, so if someone was to make a healthy meal kit for kids, I would find that incredibly valuable. And in looking in the comparison, I'd be most interested in calories, which they have, protein, which they have, sugar, which they have, saturated fat, which is missing, and sodium, which is not only missing, but replaced by electrolytes. And unlike all the other macros, is only labeled potassium and only in the Prime bottle in the kit, comparing it to the Capri Sun in the Lunchables. This is a pretty weird marketing choice to label electrolytes in food products. It's such a strange choice that it even stunned fellow Dr. Brian Sutterer, who tweeted,
Sodium getting rebranded as electrolytes will be taught in marketing textbooks one day.
The controversy took a darker turn when information surfaced indicating that some health problems had been linked to certain beverages included in Lunchley packs, particularly the Prime Hydration energy drink. Insiders claim that after eating the snacks, several consumers experienced symptoms ranging from extreme nausea to electrolyte imbalances, which raised concerns about the product's safety. Logan Paul, KSI, and MrBeast should be grateful that Lunchley has not been linked to any documented deaths, but parents are alarmed by these health concerns, making the PR nightmare even worse. One would have thought a product with such well-known founders would see soaring sales, but sales have collapsed instead. Major stores have either cut their stock or removed Lunchley from their shelves, with dissatisfied customers being the main reason. The promising project seems to be falling apart with every passing day. The co-founders have responded in a belligerent manner, with Logan Paul calling the criticism hypocritical, pointing out that Lunchables have also been connected to dangerously high amounts of lead, a problem the public mostly ignored.
Nutrition standards set forth by the USDA for school lunches and see how Lunchley compares. Going line by line here. Less than 10% of calories should come from saturated fat. Lunchley turkey, 23% of calories come from saturated fat. Less than 10% of calories should come from added sugars. Lunchley turkey, 10.4 comes from added sugars. But this is where things get really interesting, and for some reason no one has pointed this out. You see, USDA caloric guidelines say that a lunch meal for kids K through 8 should contain around 625 calories. Kids need energy to function, and calories give them that energy. Lunchley turkey contains only 230 calories, which would mean a kid would need to eat about 2.7 portions to consume enough calories. And if they did that, they'd get nearly 1,300 milligrams of sodium, which is also significantly over the USDA standards.
So, what happens to Logan Paul, KSI, and MrBeast now? Lunchley is gearing up to become a colossal failure, and YouTube's big stars might have to lawyer up.
I wasn't the one complaining! I'm just replying to Dan! Am I not allowed to reply to Dan? He came at me! Logan Paul and Jimmy's situation isn't to do with me. When I had the whole situation with the P word, I'm not there like, Logan, have my back.
Legal issues are likely to arise as several consumer protection organizations investigate the claims made about Lunchley. Does this mean that the product attempting to revolutionize kids' lunchtime snacks is coming to an end, or is there a plan in place for the trio to bounce back? MrBeast has been largely quiet on social media since he's facing a separate set of unique problems from former employees and close friends. As of now, MrBeast has no mention of Lunchley on his X account. Could he be cutting his losses already? Who knows? How do you think the Lunchley scandal will end? Let us know in the comment section below. Stay tuned.